Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. I will retire with Eddie. That could be what ends up happening with Deontay Wilder. Now, he signed with Eddie Hearn. Looks like they're just working on this one fight. If Deontay Wilder wins, it's going to end up being a multi-fight deal. But this is what makes it interesting. A lot of people are jumping ship when it comes to Deontay Wilder, saying that with everything he said in the past in regards to Eddie Hearn, how he was treated, how he was being insulted, being from the South, Eddie Hearn suggesting that people from Alabama, Tuscaloosa were dumb, that they can't believe Deontay Wilder worked with them. And I can understand that. But let's look at it this way. When you take a look at this right here, right? This is Eddie Hearn's heavyweight roster. Justice Honey, which some people probably don't know who that is, Johnny Fisher, Philip Hergovic, Dillian White, Dempsey McKean, and Anthony Joshua. So when you look at that, Eddie Hearn really, he probably benefits more than Deontay Wilder because he had to go out and pick up Deontay Wilder just to make up this fight card, because he wasn't going to put Anthony Joshua out there to fight Zhilei Zhang. Dempsey McKean, of course, he's not an elite fighter, although he's a solid fighter. He's not elite. He's more of a sparring partner type of heavyweight. Dillian White doesn't seem to want to give him an opportunity. Dillian White kind of did Eddie Hearn a little bit dirty, where he decided to go fight. He didn't fight in Portugal. He fought somewhere recently. But anyway, he didn't work anything through Eddie Hearn. He wanted to keep all the money to himself, and Eddie Hearn didn't like that. Then you got Flip Hergovic, who's on the fight card, who's going to fight Daniel Dubois, who he's already beat the hell out of in sparring. Then you got these two guys, Fisher and Honey. There's no way in the world he would sit there and put these guys in there with Zhilei Zhang. So he had to do something, because Zhilei Zhang is a problem. So when he went out there and looked across the heavyweight landscape and for fighters that were available to work a one-fight deal, Deontay Wilder is probably the biggest name, and he just happened to be available. Now, I'm going to tell you this. When you take a look at, let me show you something. I'm going to show you something, right? When you take a look at, oh, come on, get out of here. When you take a look at this right here, it's the heavyweight division, right? There's no Fury, Usyk, they're off the table. AJ's off the table. Parker is obviously they have plans for Parker. I think he's going to be Parker AJ. That's what I think. I would keep hearing rumors about Parker and AJ. Zhang's off the table because he's fighting Wilder, Hergovic. Frank Sanchez is with PBC. They weren't going to let him come over. Jared Anderson with Top Rank. Joyce, Frank Warren's protecting him because he knows Joyce's career is probably over. And then that's really it as far as the ring rack and stack. Then when you come down and you take a look at what's here in let's just look at the top 10 across the sanctioning bodies. And we're talking about heavyweights, man. There's Jermaine Franklin. I don't know who he's signed to, but he wasn't going to bring Jermaine Franklin over as one of his top heavyweights. And this just lets you know that Eddie Hearn knew, putting Jermaine Franklin in with Dillian White and Anthony Joshua, that Jermaine Franklin was a good fighter, but he didn't stand a chance against Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. Then you take a look at, let me see, this is the IBF column, right? Yeah, you look in the IBF column. All these guys are pretty much working with another promoter. And some of them are available, like Makhmudov, but he just lost. Turkey Al-Sheikh wouldn't want to see him fighting Zhang. So really, when you look at it as far as a truly elite heavyweight that's available and is a free agent, you really only have you really only have Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder was the only choice for Eddie Hearn. Now, it's a complementary relationship because Hearn needed somebody. He wasn't going to put AJ in there. And Deontay Wilder needed some help. Shelley Finkel wasn't getting the job done. He's never really got the job done, in my opinion. Al Heyman, there was a point in time where Al Heyman and PBC, they were doing the business. But obviously, they're having some issues over there. Fight dates is a serious limiting factor. So for Deontay Wilder and Eddie Hearn, I think the relationship is complementary. And I truly believe if Deontay Wilder beats Zhang, which I think all the cards are being stacked up. Look, Turkey Al-Sheikh, Saudi, the Secret Society, and everybody, they want Deontay Wilder to win. They want him fighting in Saudi. They want him giving knockouts. You know, Zhilei Zhang, when you think of Zhilei Zhang, you think of Deontay Wilder. Which one would probably get the juices flowing for boxing fans when you announce they have a fight coming up? It's not Zhilei Zhang. For me, it's like, yo, Zhilei Zhang can fight. But when it comes to Zhilei Zhang, the name alone and the recognition, it's Deontay Wilder. So the stars are being lined up for Deontay Wilder to come out the batter's box and hit a home run, a grand slam. He's got to. You know what I'm saying? He can't afford to get out there and strike out. He can't even hit a pop fly and somebody catch it. He's got to hit a grand slam. Bases are loaded and get everybody across home plate and bring the win home. He's got to do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, it is an uphill battle for him. This is the concern. Malik Scott. I'm not sure he has the experience to go up against Zhilei Zhang, who's an Olympic silver medalist and been boxing for a long time and really good at setting traps and finding the openings. And Zhilei Zhang doesn't really set up his left hand and then sets his feet. Zhilei Zhang can throw, he has an off-rhythm style of fighting. He can throw that left hand when he's going up on a bounce, opposed to coming down and setting his feet. And that's how he caught Parker. It was an off-rhythm type of left hand, and Parker just couldn't prepare for it. And the shit came so quick, and he tranquilized Parker. With Deontay Wilder, when he goes back to his corner, especially if he catches hell in the first couple rounds, and he makes it out, it's as if he doesn't knock Zhang out. But when he goes back to the corner, what's Malik Scott going to tell him? Zhang has a more than qualified coach. He has more than qualified strength and conditioning people around him. Zhang, he learned from that fight where he almost lost. That was before Zhang, where he had issues with dehydration in his liver. I think it was his kidneys, right? Then he got in there with Flip Hergovic. He learned from that fight, getting fatigued and not being able to pull the trigger down the stretch, even though a lot of us felt he won. And then he goes into Parker. He manages his conditioning very well, but it wasn't enough. His output decreased too much because he was so worried about getting fatigued. I truly believe Zhang is going to come into this fight even better than he was against Parker. And I'm not saying his conditioning is going to be superb, but it's going to be better than what it was against Parker. And the thing is, against Deontay Wilder, Wilder, he's not going to press Zhang like how Parker was. Parker was boxing, moving, and every round Parker was picking up the pace. That's not Deontay Wilder necessarily. And I just think, and getting in and out that kind of rabbit-like style that Parker has, that's not Deontay Wilder. So you may see Zhang being able to be calm and breathe and be relaxed. And down the stretch, Zhang may have more conditioning, more stamina, more wind, more fight left in him than what he's shown in the Hergovic fight and Parker fight. And that could be a recipe for disaster for Deontay Wilder. But it comes back to what's Malik Scott going to tell him? What's he doing right now to prepare him? This shit about jab right hand, I just don't think that's the answer. I don't. Because Zhang got in there, and don't get me wrong, Wilder can crack. But Zhang handled himself pretty good against everyone he's fought. He can get hit, he can get hurt, but Zhang is a tough fighter, man. I just really hope, because I don't like Wilder over Zhang. But in a selfish way, I want Wilder to win, so we can see Wilder continue to fight. I just think he brings a bit more excitement. Don't get me wrong, I will watch Zhang every time. I love watching Zhang fight, man. I like Zhang as a fighter big time. He's a great fighter. In a selfish way, I want Wilder to win so we can see him get his confidence back. He's kind of going through what Anthony Joshua went through. He's kind of going through that phase of, do I still got it? But look at the fight that he's getting for a rebuild, a reconstitution type of fight. He's putting him in there with Chinese power. That shit is crazy. They didn't do that with Anthony Joshua. They fed him Jermaine Franklin. I think that's Bermain Stavern's cousin. They threw him in there with him. So get out of here with this bullshit, man. Wilder's in a tough-ass fight. But if he gets past it, you better believe Eddie Hearns is going to find a way to milk that cow and probably line him up with Dillian White or Joe Joyce next, because he's working with Frank Warren. So he may go in-house with Dillian White, even though Eddie Hearns doesn't want to give Dillian White any money. Or he may take Deontay Wilder and work out something with Frank Warren for Joe Joyce. But even Frank Warren knows Joe Joyce is there to be hit, and Wilder will probably take his head off. So that being said, Wilder could be retiring with Eddie Hearn, man. Isn't it amazing to see where he started, where he was, what he was doing, the position he attained in the sport of boxing, and the team he attained it with, and to see him now kind of on a descent career-wise, and to see where he's landed, and to where when the Deontay Wilder bomb squad aerospace vehicle finally taxis down the end of the runway, see where it's going to finish off, and we're going to ground the till this day cargo aircraft. We're going to ground it with Eddie Hearn. And I just think that is just mind-blowing. But it is what it is. At least with Eddie, he'll get paid some good money. And hopefully, I know Deontay Wilder's loyal, but I should do a whole nother video. What's the purpose of Shelly Finkel? What's the purpose of having all these people getting paid? That's what I don't understand. He doesn't need Shelly Finkel. Deontay Wilder doesn't need any of those guys. He's a brand. So I'm not really sure what all is going on, but it is what it is, man. They just, in my opinion, I know he loves those guys, but for me on the outside looking in, it seems like they're just leeching off of him. But we're gonna see, because he got his head on the chopping block, and I hope he's ready. But if he gets past Zhilei Zhang, he's gonna probably retire with Eddie Hearn. Because Eddie Hearn can surely get him 2-3 more fights. Probably lock him into some kind of contract with some guaranteed money, fighting in Saudi. Probably give him 1 or 2 easy fights, a Joe Joyce, a Dillian White, maybe a Dempsey McKean, some easy fights. And then because he ain't going to throw him with AJ. If Deontay Wilder comes out there and knocks out Zhang, Eddie Hearn's not throwing him in there with no goddamn AJ. We're going to have to see what Turki Al-Sheikh wants, because whatever Turki Al-Sheikh wants, Turki Al-Sheikh is going to get. He's not just throwing away all this money for these promoters to come and say, no, we don't want to do that. No, that's not how that works. If he says he wants Wilder and AJ, that's the fight he wants. This is the optimal time, and he's going to get it. So let's see what happens. But I truly believe Deontay Wilder, if he wins, we're going to hear him say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and finish my career out here with Matchroom. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But it is what it is. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.